Chip, for that beautiful music. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Desert. First, I'd like to ask everyone to please silence your cell phones or any other device that you may have with you that would be sure to ring or buzz or chirp at a very inopportune time. I'm Joni Padduck, and I'm honored to be your worship associate this morning with two women I feel very blessed to call my friends, Margaret Manson and Sandy Sladen. For those of you who might not know Margaret and Sandy, I'd like to share a little bit of their background. In 2006, Margaret and Sandy retired and left their home and careers in California, where Margaret was a community college administrator and faculty member, and Sandy was a social worker and organizational consultant. Margaret and Sandy first became UUs in 2007 after they moved to Massachusetts, my home state. And there's UU churches everywhere in Massachusetts. They were looking for new ways to meet people. They quickly found the UU in Amherst, a community of deeply committed and caring people that helped make their transition from California to Massachusetts an even more positive experience. When they made the decision to return to California, specifically Palm Springs, they had already found UUCOD, and that was an important part of their decision. Margaret and Sandy have told me that nothing in their personal or professional experience has prepared them to be worship leaders, but here they are. So they invite you to be part of their leap of faith. Now, as we begin our service, we acknowledge and honor the fact that we gather today on the historic and unceded homelands of the various bands of Cahuilla people. We honor the unique relationship that we strive to build between our community and the indigenous people and their traditional territories. We commit to grow in our understanding and relationship with this land and water and the people who inhabited it and nurtured it before our arrival. When we say all are welcome in this congregation, any newcomers, visitors over here? Okay. Well, welcome everyone. We're really glad you're here with us today. If you'd like to learn more about us or our programming, please reach out to Pam, our administrator, by email at admin@uucod.org, or visit our website, uucod.org, or see our greeters at the welcome table. And now, Sandy will come up and ring the Tibetan bowl to open our service, and then together we will listen as Chip plays our music for centering.
Good morning, everybody here and at home. Thanks for being here. You can see we invited our friends because, we weren't sure anybody was going to be here. So anyway, it's been an interesting couple of days for me and Margaret getting ready for today. Margaret's dreams have veered sort of in the direction of personal disaster, including like collapsing and fainting at the podium or needing to flee from the room due to various biological needs that involve the bathroom. Whereas mine have veered towards things being out of control and in chaos, such that the order of service was completely out of order and we had no idea where we were in the service. And then when it got time to do our sermon, our papers were floating in slow motion around the room, and I'm trying to grab them to try to find some order and take care of the chaos. So now that I've shared with our personal neuroses, and in the certainly in light of the theme of today, we hope that none of those things come to pass. So good morning again to everybody. We're really pleased to be here. Margaret and I want to start by thanking Bryna and Joni for giving us the opportunity to share with you today our reflections on hope. It goes without saying that we live in difficult times that seem to grow even more difficult with each passing day. Anxiety, fear, rage, helplessness, just below the surface of our daily lives. We feel it in our bodies, in our minds, and in our hearts. And when we think it can't get any worse, it does. And that's not even counting our personal concerns about our own health and our loved ones. It's hard not to feel despair. It's hard not to feel helpless. And it's hard not to feel, well, hopeless. For these reasons, we've taken a deep dive into understanding and thinking about hope. What is it? Where does it come from? What does it look like? How does it work in our lives? And we've probably done this as much for ourselves as we have for you, quite frankly. So today we gather in this sanctuary of shared spirit, aware of the world around us, its chaos and beauty, its grief and joy. And our theme is hope, not the glittering kind that denies the dark, but the quiet, resilient hope that grows in the cracks, like green shoots pushing through concrete. Welcome to our service. Let us worship together. Please stand as you're willing and able to join in our opening hymn, and the words are on the screen.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in the rain with me. Come walk in the rain with me. Come walk in the rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Thank you, Jim, for leading us in our first hymn. The ancient story of Pandora's box tells us that when all the world's sorrow were let loose, one thing remained at the bottom of the vessel: hope. And I'd like to invite Jane Beth Stover up to light the chalice, and if you'll join with me with the words on the screen. We light this flame to honor that which stays. When the shadows are long and the jar seems empty, the light reminds us that we are never truly forsaken. Hope is the stowaway of the heart, waiting for us to strike the match. Thank you, Jane. And now if Rob could come forward to light the biopuck candles, and if you could join me again with the words on the screen. in solidarity with Black, Indigenous, and other people of color as we journey together towards spiritual wholeness. May we, as a beloved community, work to dismantle racism and all forms of oppression. May we, justice, dignity, and for all prevail. And now please get comfortable in your chairs as we reground ourselves in a brief meditation as you listen to Chip's beautiful music. And now please join me in singing our hymns for meditation, Spirit of Life, and Fuente de Amor. The words are on the screen.
Good morning. And I want to add my good morning and my thanks to all of you here and all the love. We heard it. Thank you. So this morning, Sandy and I are going to talk about hope. In the beginning, as the Greeks told it, there was a gift that was also a curse. Zeus, in his clever anger, sent Pandora to earth with a sealed vessel. We call it a box now, but it was really a heavy clay storage jar. When Pandora's curiosity finally tipped the lid, the world changed forever. Out flew those shadows we all know too well: the sting of grief, the ache of sickness, the cold weight of injustice. They scattered to the corners of the earth, invisible and tireless. Pandora slammed the lid shut, but the box or jar was already empty, or so she thought. For there, caught in the dark curve of the jar's bottom, was one last thing: It didn't fly out like a predator. It waited. It was hope. Centuries later, a quiet poet in Amherst, Massachusetts, where Sandy and I lived for 11 years, looked at the same human persistence and saw not a Greek spirit, but a bird. And so Emily Dickinson wrote, "Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could have bashed the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me." For Emily Dickinson, hope functions as a quiet, persistent force in the midst of inner dread, social isolation, and the storms of life. Today we recognize that hope is the stowaway in the jars of our lives. It is the thing with feathers that survives the storms of our own making and the storms we never asked for. Whether it is a gift from the gods or a biological miracle of the human spirit, hope does not give permission to exist. It simply perches. It simply stays.
Early in my career as a social worker, I worked as a home visitor in a child abuse prevention program. I remember several families to this day for one reason or another, mostly because they taught me so much more than I ever taught them, I'm afraid. In thinking about this sermon today, one family in particular came to mind. It was my first visit with them. They were living in a small motel room with one queen bed, one chair, and maybe a small table. It was dark, crowded, and kind of dingy. There was the mother, her boyfriend, who was not there at the time, and 3 young children. As was the case when first meeting with a family, I got to know some of this woman's life story as it related to how she ended up where she was today. To say she had a rough start in life was an understatement. Her father had abandoned the family, and her mother lived a day-to-day life trying to survive with a couple of kids. My client had to serve as an adult way before her time, caring for her younger brother and taking care of her mother. They moved a lot. She was often hungry. She was physically and sexually abused by her mother's various boyfriends. She ran away from home, such as it was, as a teenager. She never finished high school, didn't have any job skills to speak of, so got involved with various men with whom she had children. In many ways, she was repeating her mother's life. I left that visit feeling overwhelmed and somewhat hopeless. How in the world was I going to help this family? I remember thinking, I'm not even sure I would still be alive if I'd lived her life. I wasn't sure I could have survived. And then I reflected on the incredible will to live that she displayed despite all she had experienced and continued to experience. Her will to live, something I saw in many of the people with whom I worked, is what I now call hope. Hope that there will be a tomorrow. Hope that maybe tomorrow will be a little better than today. Hope that fuels survival even in the darkest of times.
Today we gather in the shelter of this community to reflect on hope, not as wishful thinking, but as a way of living in a troubled world. Hope that looks honestly at what is broken and still chooses to mend. We look at hope not as a fleeting feeling, but as a resilient physical presence. Defining hope when things feel bleak isn't about being positive or ignoring reality. In fact, hope usually requires a clear-eyed look at how difficult things actually are. Wendell Berry, in a poem many of us already know and know well, tells us, "When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear at what my life and the life of my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. And for a time, I rest in the grace of the world, and I am free. Barry reminds us that hope does not erase despair. It gives us somewhere to rest when despair grows in us so that we can rise again. There's a vital distinction we must make, the difference between optimism and hope. Hope is not optimism. Optimism is the passive expectation that things will turn out well. Optimism expects the best regardless of the reality. Hope imagines the possible, even in the face of the impossible. Hope is not naive. It looks reality in the eye and says, there is more to be done. It is the active conviction that something makes sense, regardless of how it turns out. Optimism says, it won't be that bad, just wait and see. But hope says, we will be the change we want to see in the world. Optimism is a state of mind that says things will work out well, but hope is an orientation of the spirit. Consider the words of Václav Havel, the author, poet, statesman, and dissident, who led a revolution in the Czech Republic, not with weapons, but with the power of the powerless. He taught us that hope is not the conviction that something will turn out well, but the certainty that something makes sense, regardless of how it turns out. Rebecca Solnit, American writer and activist, in her book, Hope in the Dark, tells us that hope is the embrace of the unknown and the unknowable. And this reminds me of my brother Paul. Right before my 12th birthday, my father was killed by a drunk driver. My brother Paul, 15 months older than I, became my closest companion. As the two youngest of 4 children, we were inseparable. Our lives took many different directions, but I can clearly remember the moment I learned Paul had a virulent cancer that would claim his life at 63. I also remember the physical anguish I felt when I learned there were no treatment options and that Paul was going to die. The loss felt so overwhelming, I wasn't sure how I would live beyond the pain and hopelessness that consumed me. But somewhere in this time, I realized that all I could do was endure and meet the moment as best I could. I found a way forward toward a world that would be forever changed. And even though I did not know what that new world would look like, I would be in it. It was hope that sustained me. Not hope that things would be okay, but the hope that I would prevail beyond the grief and the loss. Paul was not a religious person and did not have the quiet and profound faith that sustained my mother through her losses and now the death of her son. But as Paul lay dying, he asked my mother, "Do you think I will see Daddy?" And my mother said, "Yes, son, I believe you will." This too is hope, the comfort of hope when the moment feels hopeless.
Theologians have argued about the meaning and significance of hope left in the bottom of the jar, but poets are very clear. Poetry has always been the voice of the human heart, reaching for meaning beyond despair. Poetry, like faith, keeps us company when reasons falter. It gives shape to the ineffable. It keeps the embers burning. When facts cannot comfort, rhythm and image can. Hope is language, the words we speak to ourselves and to one another. It is what lifts us up and reminds us of possibilities we cannot yet see. Poetry captures this movement. It acknowledges darkness, yet it points to the light. It gives form to fragile, enduring truths. When Langston Hughes, a member of the Harlem Renaissance, wrote, "Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly," he wasn't offering a greeting card sentiment. He was naming the power of hope for a people denied justice. His poems were acts of survival. We could also turn to Seamus Heaney, the Irish poet and winner of the Nobel Peace Prize for Literature in 1995, who wrote during the Troubles in Northern Ireland in his play The Cure at Troy. History says, "Don't hope on this side of the grave, but then, once in a lifetime, the longed-for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme." The poem argues that despite profound human suffering and longed-for change, often seeming impossible, a moment can arrive when justice prevails. The passage encourages holding on to hope and believing that a better, further shore is reachable, even amidst despair. As UU Minister Victoria Safford wrote in The Gates of Hope, "Our mission is to plant ourselves at the gates of hope, not the prudent gates of optimism, nor the stalwart gates of common sense, but a different, sometimes lonely place, the place of truth-telling and promise-keeping." The gates of hope are not an escape, they are an encounter. They are where we dare to imagine a better world while standing in this one.
So, what is hope? Writers, psychologists, theologians, philosophers, all over the years have attempted to define hope, especially what hope means during times of despair. These definitions include the idea of radical hope, the kind of hope you hold when the world as you know has ended. It isn't the hope for a specific outcome. It is the belief that something good will emerge in the future, even if you cannot imagine what that future looks like. Sandy and I think of this congregation following the unexpected death of Suzanne, a previous minister. We have heard, since we were not here, that that was a time not only of great sorrow, but also a time of great difficulty, and for the congregation needing to come together, acknowledge the loss, and find a way forward, even though it was hard to imagine what that future might be. It was radical hope that underpinned all your work to get to where we are today. How could all of you who have been through this have imagined the UUCOD as we are here today? Hope has also been defined as defiance, as an act of rebellion. We live in an age where despair seems almost logical. We scroll through wars, wildfires, and contested elections. We bury loved ones and we watch rivers run dry or flood their banks. Hope then becomes countercultural, even subversive. It asks us to resist cynicism without denying pain. It asks us to not turn away. If despair tells you that nothing matters and nothing will change, then continuing to care, create, and help others is an act of defiance. When Trump was elected for the second time, Sandy was talking to her cousin about her feelings of anger and despair. She so distinctly remembers him saying, "We just have to care for each other and be kind." It was a simple comment, but in so many ways, so wise and so powerful. And of course, we need look no further than the citizens of Minneapolis, who have stood in harm's way to take care of their immigrant neighbors. And Joanna Macy brings us yet another concept, the concept of active hope, not as wishful thinking and not waiting to be rescued, but becoming active participants in bringing about what we hope for. Her concept of hope is embedded in a spiritual practice coming from gratitude, honoring our pain in the world, seeing with new eyes, and going forth to transform despair into inspired collaborative action. And I add here that that is, as I look out on Denise and think about the Social Justice Committee, that is what we do so well, and Denise leads us so well in our community.
And then we have Emily Dickinson. For Emily Dickinson, hope is an organic, persistent presence before the words. To be intellectual is to analyze the thing with feathers, but to be spiritual is to host it. Hope isn't something we go out to find. It's a permanent resident within us. Her definition is particularly powerful because it acknowledges that you don't have to do anything to be hopeful. You don't have to be optimistic or tough. You just have to let that which is already inside you keep singing its tune while you weather the storms. As Václav Havel, Joanna Macy, and others have said, hope is not a solo act. It's a communal practice, something we hold for one another when the burden grows too heavy to carry alone. It is the hope we carry together here when we remember each other's joys and sorrows. When we gather here, we confirm not only our theological diversity, but our shared commitment to renewal. Maybe some weeks you don't have hope to bring, and that's okay. Someone else will hold it for you until you can take it back. When we act in kindness, when we express gratitude, when we forgive, when we refuse to give up on someone or ourselves, we are doing the quiet work of hope. As we invite you this morning to think about hope in your own life, do not look for hope far away. Cultivate it here and within yourself, because hope, like poetry, lives in the ordinary. It rises not in shouts, but in whispers, not in certainty, but in courage. In our UU tradition, hope is not a creed, it's a practice. It's an active participation in the ongoing creation of the world as we want it to be. May it be so. Please stand as you're willing and able to sing our closing song, right?
My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real, though far off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest round me roars? I know the truth, it liveth. What though the darkness round me close? Songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble as they fear, the bells of freedom ringing. When friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? To prison cell and dungeon vile, while thoughts to them are winging. When friends my shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing?
And now I'll share some congregational news. From Rod Belshey, our board president. If you don't know them, he's the guy in the red shirt and the beautiful beard. Please stay after today's service for an important information session at 11:30. In 2 weeks, members will vote on a number of issues at the annual meeting. We will discuss and answer questions on 2 of these today, a proposed bylaws change and the proposed budget. Both today's meeting and the annual meeting will be in person and on Zoom. For those online, you can, or if you need to go home, you can find the link in the newsletter from Friday. Maggie Hamilton shares that the Saving Nature Film Festival Inspiring Stories, Saving Wildlife 1 Acre at a Time, will be held on Earth Day, April 22nd, 2026 at the Palm Springs Cultural Center. The event is presented by the Oswit Land Trust. For more details and to purchase tickets, go to oswitlandtrust.org. Now I have an announcement from the Sacred Grounds team. Spring is still whispering its invitation, and our time together is just around the corner. This is a friendly reminder that we'll be gathering on Saturday, April 18th at 8 a.m. to tend the UUCOD grounds and welcome the season with open hands and open hearts. The earth is ready, and so are we, to nurture, to connect, and to grow something meaningful together. Whether you joined us last time or are planning to come for the first time, know that your presence truly matters. Each small act, every weed pulled, every seed planted, every path shaped, becomes part of something larger, a shared expression of care for this sacred space and for one another. We'll have refreshments, good company, and plenty of opportunities for laughter and lightness along the way. If you have a favorite gardening tool, gloves, trowels, clippers, feel free to bring them, but most importantly, just bring yourself. Even an hour makes a difference, and we would love to see you there. And a note from Marty Gromwald, a reminder that part 2 of the ongoing Healthy Aging Dare to Be Happy class will be next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday at 10 a.m. Learn how to make the rest of your life the best of your life. Flyers are on the round table out in the foyer, or see Marty, who's over here with the headphones on. And now I'd like to invite Denise Eager for some news from the social justice team.
First of all, let's give a round of applause to Sandy and Margaret. Yes, and what I heard you both say is hope is imagining the possible. Isn't that? And that's what we're doing in social justice, imagining the possible. So I have 4 events I want you to be aware of. First one, share the plate. Voting is now open. 13 organizations were nominated by 15 people, which means 2 organizations were nominated by 2 different people, or 4 different people. Let's put it that way. Voting happens until next Sunday at 11:45. Please, 2 ways to vote. In the link that it was in the newsletter or out on the round table is a paper ballot. So vote, vote, vote. Second thing, next Friday, April 17th, singing the songs, even more songs of resistance in these dark times. You saw the pre-slides of all of us at opening and closing No Kings on March 28th. Come join us next Friday and learn even more songs. We're hopefully going to be going out into the community and doing more events. We'll be talking about that then. I don't know if we're going to be able to video it or show it live stream, so please come. We're going to be talking about a lot that night and hope you can join us. Third thing, Signs of resistance. If you've been to the newsletter, scrolled all the way down, you saw the group of people in the March event for the signs of, signs of fascism. I'm sorry, signs of fascism, my bad. And the next opportunity to carry the signs of fascism is on Saturday, April 18th. And Celia Groman needs 3 more people. We know we got stuff going on out here that day as well, but 3 more people to have a full contingent of 20 sign carriers. It's only an hour and 15 minutes. And so please contact Celia Groman if you'd like to be a part of that. And throughout April, Denise Stevens and Francine Langlass request that you bring your casual clothes to church, and they will take them to the Nursing Street Medicine project, where they will be handed out to people who are in need of clothes. That's clothes, bedding, your hotel toiletries. Look in last Friday's newsletter, and more information. And if you're on your phone, scroll all the way down and you think it's done, there's a little note that says, what does it say? It says, click here to read more. Click it, because there's a lot more that's going on in social justice. And we hope you will be joining us for these upcoming events. Thanks.
Well, now it's time to say thank you to so many people that made this service possible this morning. Our greeters, our ushers, our wonderful hospitality crew who have set up a nice little coffee hour for you. The AV team who work tirelessly each week to bring the service to all of us here in the sanctuary, as well as the folks at home. And our fabulous chip prints. Thank you so much. A special thanks goes to Jim Tong and Michael Horton, who you're going to hear sing a very special song in a couple of minutes. Sincere gratitude to Margaret and Sandy. Your talk was just beautiful, very heartfelt and inspiring. Thanks also to all of you here and all of you at home for joining us this morning. We appreciate you being here. You're what makes us a beautiful community. And now I'd like to invite Margaret up to extinguish our chalice, and the words are on the screen. But it is also the hand that builds. As we release this light, let us carry the spark into the dark corners of the week ahead. Our service has ended. Our poetry begins.
We remember the ancient story of Pandora, of a jar opened in haste, releasing the stings and arrows of the human condition, the griefs, the wars, the winters of our soul. We often focus on what escaped that vessel, but we forget what remained. When the lid snapped shut, hope stayed behind, not because hope was trapped, but because hope was the only thing strong enough to dwell in the dark and wait for us to come back to it. Hope does not demand a reason to exist. It simply is. It is the quiet pulse that says, tomorrow, when today feels impossible. As we prepare to leave this sanctuary, let us remember that hope is not just a feeling you wait for, it's also a choice you make. It is the choice to be kind when the world is cruel. It is the choice to see the inherent worth and dignity in your neighbor when the news tells you to fear them. It is the choice to listen to your most inner voice that tells you to love. And in the powerful words of Amanda Gorman, for there is always light, if only we are brave enough to see it, if only we are brave enough to be it. May you be the hope you are looking for. Go in peace and go in love. And Sandy and I would like to add our special thanks to Jim and his husband Michael, and of course Prince, who were willing to share their talents with a song that Sandy and I felt was not only beautiful, but a lovely, lovely way to end our service. So thank you very much.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves my soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. I say love, it is a flower, and you, its only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes a chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong, just remember in the winter, far beneath the winter snows, lies the seed that with the sun's love in the spring, because